everybody. Today I'm going to take you on a little tour of an app that you may not be familiar with from Google called Google Arts and Culture. My name is Holly Graffam, and I'm an MLTI ambassador through the Maine Department of Education. I have linked in here my email, my Twitter handle, and a link to the MLTI PD playlist of myself and my fellow ambassadors. Below this video in the description, there'll be a PDF version of this slide deck. And so these links and any links that I present to you today you'll be able to get to them in the PDF. So Google Arts and Culture is a non-commercial initiative. They've worked with cultural institutions and artists around the world to preserve and bring the world's art and culture online so it's accessible to anyone, anywhere. And so without further ado, I'm going to go right into the Google Arts and Culture website. And you can search artsandculture.google.org. You can go to your little waffle application. If you click on that, it should be one of the applications you have access to. If it's not there, like I said, just go to artsandculture.google.com and it should take you right here. So let's go ahead and get started here. And there is so much on this website. I'm really only going to give you a tour of just a small part of it to kind of hopefully get you excited about the website and exploring it and give you a little bit of an overview. There is a menu right here, but I'm going to use this menu right here over here, the hamburger menu on the upper left, because I feel like that's probably the easiest way to kind of go through everything that is here. And we'll start out on the Explore page. And you can see that it has a bunch of different categories, different things that you can explore. You can explore artists. You can explore different art mediums, art movements, but it also has historical events and historical figures and places. And each of these usually provides a brief description. And let's go ahead and click on one of these historical figures. Let's just click on historical figures. And let's just say that we wanted to look at John F. Kennedy. And it gives me a little spiel here about John F. Kennedy, and it tells me that there's a story, there's some different pictures, there's all these other related pictures, and really he has over 3,000 different items, probably mostly pictures, associated with his name. And so you can go ahead and explore a little bit more of that. If we were going to explore historical events, one of the things I like about this is that we can choose the event and then they're listed. These are probably the most popular, A to Z, or by time. So if you wanted to look at historical events in a particular time piece, I like that you can scroll along the timeline here. And let's just say, I think we could probably all guess what's going to come up somewhere around 2000 would be the 9/11. And it would give you all the different things that you could explore around events that happened around that time. The next thing that we will look at, again, I'm just briefly going through this. I think it goes without saying what these other ones are. I do want to say, as I'm looking at artists and mediums, remember this really is based on and partnered with museums all over the world. And it's not just art, but it is certainly a large portion of art. And remember that art is not always particularly Renaissance art. There's a lot of unclothed people, or if you're looking at sculptures and things like that. So it might be best for you as a teacher to go through and curate some things that you want students to look at that work with whatever it is that you're doing for curriculum at that time in your classroom, and kind of steer them there. I mean, again, this thing is so big. There's so much to do, but I will also show you some fun things that students will like to explore. But just to give that a little caution, and you may want to check to make sure before you do this that things, before you assign it to your classroom, that the site itself is not blocked by your school district, or that certain pieces of it are not blocked. So with that said, this I thought was really interesting. You click on the nearby, it will give you a map and list of all the different museums that are in close physical proximity to you. So that you could visit or browse. Profile is just your personal profile. Achievements, those you'll see that there are some games that you can play, and so those things would show up there. So we're going to jump right down here to collections. And here you can see that there are just about every large museum in the world is got some sort of exhibit or some artwork material that they have partnered with Google here. And I am going to go ahead and click on the Smithsonian National Museum of History. It's one of my favorite of the Smithsonian museums to visit. I've been there multiple times, and actually am going back again this summer. So if we click on that, you'll see that it will tell me what are the different exhibits, the online exhibits that they have open right now. These are some different collections that I could actually look at a little bit more. And these are 360 artifacts that I can look at. And if I click over here, let's see, what do I want to look at? We want to just pull up one of these. For instance, let's just pull up this dinosaur one. And you can see that I can click on one of these dinosaurs. And this one, I can really zoom in. And they have, that's the thing with the Google Arts and Culture. They have some pretty high definition artwork that you can interact with. All right, let's see. And so again, just briefly going through some different things that you could look at. And this is just one museum, and you can see there's hundreds of different artifacts that I could look at. Some of these are like a 360, like we could look at this one. And it's a little bit to load here, but you can see I can actually turn this all the way around and really look at everything. I could look at it all over. And this is a brown box crab. Now, are they going to have everything? No. But they got 65,000 items that you can look at. So it's worth going through to see if there is one that interests you. The next thing I'm going to look at, so that's collections. So you kind of choose by museum. So let's look at themes, and you can, so now they really take the same art and organize it in a variety of different ways, just to narrow down the pieces that you want to look at for a particular concept of reason. And you can see there's all kinds of, these are the ones that they have up right now. And we're going to just look at It's a Wonderful World. And I was looking at extreme locations. So I could look at technology museums around the world. I could look at science museums, all kinds of different, I can do art by color. I'll show you all that, but I'm going to go on an adventure and I'm going to look at 7 extreme locations around the world. And you'll see that this one happens to be I'm able to kind of pan around and look at a 360 view, and it gives me some little bit of information about that. Let's go back to themes and look at some other themes that we could look at. Let's see, where's the one by color? Because that's always interesting. If I don't find it here, I will go back and show you. So you choose a color, and based on the color you choose, it brings up different artwork that is in that color scheme. All right, moving along here. Again, you could just spend so much time wandering around here. This is really just a quick overview to kind of get you excited about this site. So now we're going to look at some experiments. And so this is kind of where kids can interact a little bit more with the website besides just, viewing some of the things. They could, let's see, there's so many great experiments. So they have some AI type of things. So guess the line, and this is kind of a takeoff from Google Draw. If you remember that, a few years ago, they had a beta application called Google Draw, and you start drawing, and this little robot here is going to see if it can guess what you're drawing. It gives you cards, so the robot has some framework on it, but kids will like that one. That's a great one. You can, like, where is Hopper? These are all really kind of some AI things. The other one is the other one that kids love. Where are you here, Blob? It's called the Blob Opera. And if you launch this experiment, you can, each one of these has its own, let's see if we can, I can't explain it. So, and so you can drag them. And you can record this and save your little opera. So kids will love experimenting with that. Let's see, let me go back to the experiments because there's one more that I really wanted to show you, although there's so many in here. There's guess the artwork. Where is the teaching machine? So there's another AI that's called the teachable machine. And I am not going to continue to look through here, but I would let you go ahead and look at that because it is really interesting. So there's a puzzle party where you can work together with family and friends on a puzzle. There's a coloring book. Where are you, Teachable Machine? Anyway, there is a Teachable Machine that's another AI project. You see, there's all kinds of different experiments. So this is another place that kids would really, like to go in, and it's a little bit more interactive for them. All right, so the next thing that we are going to look at is the 360 videos that they have. And so that's actually going to be, I'm going to go back to explore here. And you can see I could have gotten to the experiments here. The art camera has some artworks that you can really explore. So this one happens to be, if you click on here, you can get right in and see the different brush strokes. It's really quite amazing how far in you can get. I'm not zooming in as good as I would have liked to. But you can see here, I can get really right in here to the artwork. And this is something that if you went to the museum, and let's talk about what's in the news this week with the Mona Lisa. And I think people kind of realize like how far away you are from it, how small the Mona Lisa really is, and how you can't really see it. But in Google Arts and Culture, you could get in and zoom in and really look at the artwork in a much more complex way. I'm going to go back to explore here. They have a lot of 360 videos. So they took a lot of their Google expeditions and they've kind of sunset that program. And a lot of they had a lot of great 360 experiences. And so they took a lot of those videos and they put them in here for these virtual to reality, these field trips that you can go on. And so you'll recognize some of these from the Google expeditions if you ever did any of those. Like, let's meet this dinosaur here, and it really kind of takes you in and learn all about it. I'm not going to play the whole video for you. Let's go back to explore again. Against a lot of the stuff that was on the homepage that you can get to. This is where I was saying by color, I could choose a color palette that I wanted. Like say I wanted to have just red, and it will match up a whole bunch of artwork based on that color. And a variety of different ways to explore everything that they have. I'm going to talk about play because that kind of goes into some of the experiments that we've talked about. And then I do want to get into, let's see if I can find the one that I'm interested in. Play with your camera. Is this the one that, so these are two what I think are pretty cool interactive things that you do. It's called Play with Your Camera, and it's an art selfie. And so you would upload, so these are actually, you have to be, you have to have it get on Google Play, but it's, if you could get kids or your kids have access to their phones, they could do this. And you upload a selfie and it matches you with a famous piece of artwork. And you can actually even do it with your pets. So you can see right there, it found that person's pet is a famous piece of artwork. So I really like both of those ideas. We talked about nearby. I don't know. So the other thing that I wanted to look at was let's see if it's in here or if we've got to go. No, we have to search. So you can also search things, and this search is right in arts and culture. And if you want to, speaking of a lot of the Google expeditions, they moved some of them into this arts and culture expeditions. And they're not VR anymore, but you can take these virtual field trips. And so one of the ones that I had done before in geography, and so I looked at it again to see how much it matched up because I had done this field trip quite a bit. Was, let's see if I can find it here. Mount Everest is the one that I had done. And so while you kind of lose a little bit of that VR experience, you can still get a lot of the 360. It just doesn't feel like, you're going to fall off a cliff or something like that, which is kind of like what it felt um, on some of these. And so I felt like these are pretty good representations of from the expeditions that they had. And again, you could search for those by just clicking here. And if you wanted to search, you can see that you can search a particular museum, you could search an artist, you could search for a particular portrait, all of that stuff. So I hope that you really found this to be something that you might want to bring to your classroom. Um, there's, it's a great opportunity to go and explore things virtually that you might not otherwise. So, time with me in exploring the Google Arts and Culture website. If you would like to get a contact hour, you can go ahead and click here on this slide in the slide deck, which is in a PDF version in the description area underneath this video. Thank you and have a great day.